Welcome back. Let's take a look at the state of Blood Bowl 3 in October 2023 and where it is and what's been added to the game. So here we are again looking at the state of Blood Bowl 3, the computer game, in October 2023. We're halfway through Season 2. What have we learnt about the game, what's new to the game, and what's still missing from the game. So let's start with the development point that came out just before the end of Season 1 or the transition into Season 2, where they summed up some of the things they were and some of the updates and details. So the first one was on the official ladder. It was clear that the official ladder was a big enhancement because there was nothing there before, and they added in some season finals for Season 1. Very bland interest in this, but more to come in Season 2. The ladder format itself, what they decided to do was soft reset, and I think this is more like reset. The official ladder was completely reset for Season 2. You couldn't take your Season 1 team into it, you had to start a new team. There's quite a bit of pushback from players who played for a long time about this, and also players who were returning after a while and not seeing this news, not understanding why they couldn't use their team. In the end, it's not the worst thing, but it was a bit annoying. The new faction, well, there was going to be a new faction for Season 2, we'll come on to who that is in a minute. And then this disappointing section here about the league admin tools. We've been relatively quiet on this front. They haven't been relatively quiet, they've just been quiet. Basically, the league admin tools aren't in the game at the start of Season 2, they aren't in the game in the middle of Season 2, and if I'm going to be honest, I don't think they're coming before the end of Season 2. Picking up from that downside, let's have an upside. Spectator mode. Spectator mode is in the game and works. It's in for Season 2 and working going forward. If you've got a friend playing a game and you want to see what they're doing, you can go in and have a look at their game. You don't have to ask them to stream it to get in. So, some movement, some detail. So where did we go then in the start of Season 2? Well, Season 2 brought with it a patch. Brought with it a patch that fixed some things, added some new features as we've seen here, added in a new couple of star players as well, which is quite good for people, added in the new team, changed some menus around, and fixed some bits and pieces. The fun thing that I thought with this patch is it also brought the weather bug. And we started Season 2 with weather being rolled on a 1d6, not a 2d6. So sweltering heat went from a 1 in 12 to a 1 in 6. And having had sweltering heat 3 times in a row at the start of Season 2, I'm glad to say this was fixed not too long afterwards. So we had some patch, and then the official ladder was confirmed with a TV limit of 2,000 TV. Now for those of you that play tabletop Blood Bowl, 2,000 TV is basically double where you start, and it's difficult to get a team there. For those of you who play a lot of Blood Bowl 2, Fumble or Blood Bowl 3, you can play the number of games you need to get your TV up to this level, especially if you've got a high armor team that don't die, because you can buy rerolls all over the place and up that level. Having a high TV means you'll see a lot of star players in, and then from my personal point of view, try and manage your TV down when you're playing. You'll get access to star players, you'll make it worth your while. Then there was some minor additional patches and detail through. We also had, I think I've just missed it, oh yeah, here we go. The Season 2 team are the Underworld. So great little team, the Underworld. Bit like OWA, but with a completely different set of teams. And to be fair, they're better than OWA. Good fun to play with. And straight away, as we started Season 2, we started to see people with the Underworld team, because there's 2 ways of getting the team. You can either skip the blood pass effectively by buying the blood pass straight out to get right through to the end. That gives you access to the team and everything along the way. Or you can grind for free along the blood pass. You won't get everything along the blood pass, and if you see here, the blood pass content includes a load of customizations, pitch, coach, cheerleader and more, and some warpstone along the way. if you buy the Pass and then churn along it, you will get these things. You don't need to buy the Blood Pass to work through that, and you can still get the team, but you're going to have to play about 50 games, I think. And then an interesting thing's been added in for the end of the season. So there are season finals for Blood Bowl, and actually it's a really interesting way to play it through. It's going to be a double knockout tournament with a play-in event starting straight after the end of the season, and that play-in event will host 56 players. So how do you get into it? Well, there are two ways of accessing the play-in. Effectively, the easiest way is getting the first or second place on the official ladder. I say the easiest way. It's the easiest way to work out where you are. That gets you direct entrance actually to the season finals. And for the official ladder, then ranks 3 to 28 go straight into the play-in. So if you get in the top 28, you're either going directly in or into the play-in. A nice little tweak as well is that the top two teams outside of the 28 for every race, or as faction as they call it, will also get into the play-ins. So if you're playing with Elven Union and no one else in the top 28 is playing with Elven Union, you can still get in to the play-in tournament by being the best couple of Elven Union teams out there. I think that's a really nice little twist. Gives a bit of variability in teams as well in the final. Also, there's a NAF satellite tournament, and entry to that is going to go to the top two players in that. The play-in tournament will then see us playing through, and the season finale is actually going to have a $5,000 cash prize. So great for the players who want to see that. The cash prize, set of quarterfinals, the semi-finals and finals, and then through to the grand final. As you can see from the diagram, it's a double elimination. So if you are out in the first couple of rounds, you've still got a chance of making the grand final, but you lose 2 games, you're out. I think it's great to see this. The suspicious side of me says that this has come in because there's no other way of keeping us going, playing us through, and those league tools aren't coming in season 2. So let's talk about where this leaves us for season 2, what's in the game, and how would you go for recommending. So how is Blood Bowl 3 as a game now? What's in there, what's not in there? Well, what's in there is basically what was in there for season 1. There's been some more bugs fixed. There's been some really important bugs fixed. The weather bug, as I mentioned, was an important one. Also, there was one around interceptions, which if you went for an interception was pretty much guaranteeing a crash of the game. That really needed sorting, and it is sorted. There's a new team in there, the Underworld team. So we've had 2 new teams in 9 months now, the Lizard Man team and the Underworld team. But we really need a lot more teams in it. There's a long way to go in the rate we're going. And it's not just 3 months of the season. There was a break in between the two seasons. I think it was only a couple of weeks, but when you're waiting for a new team, it's another period of time that you've got to wait for in detail. He says, kicking the bin. What else is in the game? Well, the league tools are not in the game, so there are no leagues in. All you can do if you want to set up something different is have an open ladder, really, or a different kind of tournament, but basically an open ladder is the best way to play. So there are a few unofficial ones. We've got one with the Bonehead podcast. We've been running it since season 1, playing a bit more with everyone in there, but there's no ability to set up your own league and play through those. So where would that leave me in terms of recommendations, and should you buy Blood Bowl 3 or not? So one of the things I would really look at carefully is, why are you asking the question, should you play Blood Bowl 3? If you've already bought it, play it. The game is stable. It's good enough to play. You might have to wait for 5 minutes to get a game of it, but it absolutely is playable. It looks good. It plays well. Most of the rules are in the game. Get on the game. We need more people who've got it to play the game. If you haven't got the game, and you're a big tabletop fan and you want to play a computer game that is the current rules, for me, Blood Bowl 3 is the best version of it. They're not all of the rules in the game, but it plays well, it's smooth running, and it's good fun, and you can really churn through the games. An hour and a quarter is about a long game within Blood Bowl 3, so it's not a massive amount of time, and it's probably actually shorter than most of your tabletop games because it's doing all the maths for you. If you are a tabletop player who wants to learn a new team or practice for a tournament, again, Blood Bowl 3 is a great way to really get those games in and work them through. So get on and give it a go. If you're a computer game player who was looking at, is Blood Bowl 3 a great game with masses of content that's going to pick up, I don't think you're going to find yourself leaning towards Blood Bowl 3. Even as a big Blood Bowl fan, I will still be playing other games, and some games more often than Blood Bowl 3, because there's really not a lot of content in the game. There are the single player missions to play through, which aren't like the old tutorial missions, so they're just some single player things. And then it's online ladder or ladders with your friends. That's it. There's no league tools, there's no admins, you can't set up any cup competitions really of any decence. It's really tricky to play anything else. There's also not all of the teams in there, so you're going to see a lot of high value, certain high armor teams as well. Would I buy it on sale? Absolutely, I'd buy it on sale, and actually for any player I'd recommend just pick it up when it's on sale and get online. So that's where Blood Bowl 3 is. What else do I want to see, and what do I think is going to happen next? Well, as I've already said, I don't think we're going to get the league tools in Season 2. I don't think they're coming until Season 3 at least, and that's because I think the finals have been put in to give us something to distract us and some reason to play through. And I am a big fan of the finals going in. I think towards the end of the season there'll be a real push for some players to get in there. One of the things I really want to see, and this is for all the console players out there, is I want to see cross-play work, because I know that players who got it on console are struggling to find games. I'm playing on PC, the wait times aren't too bad, there are always other people playing, but I think the console population is really low, and I'd really like to see those players be able to play with other Blood Bowl players. I'd like to see the rest of the star player rules implemented. That was due to be implemented in November in the original timeline, but the original timeline I would just scrap up and throw out the door. There's been things added to that, there's been things taken away from that, and basically I don't think that roadmap is any way relevant in terms of even being a roadmap, definitely not with the timing. So overall, Blood Bowl 3, it's the best version of the new rules that you can play Blood Bowl in. It's not perfect, it will go wrong every once in a while, and it is limited in the teams, but it is still a good fun game, and I hope to see you playing more and come and joining us as we stream some games and play through. Tell me what you've been thinking about Blood Bowl 3, how you found it so far, and what you think is going to be coming next. It'd be great to see more people playing it, and I'll see you online soon. Happy playing.